the Sylvia Career Podcast, where we have conversations that matter. And today we have a guest in studio. He's going to introduce himself. So, Mike, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Sylvia. My name is Michael Kirui. Currently, I'm the founder and lead trainer at Hatua Peak Consulting. This is a consultancy firm that deals primarily with sales training, financial literacy, which is personal financial management. Wow, I said personal. So prior to that, I have been in banking for 17 years, a career that has seen me go from the basics, from being a teller all the way to branch management, and my last assignment was as a regional manager. So I'm happy to be here, and hopefully during this conversation we can go through that journey in greater detail. So thank you very much, Sylvia.
Awesome. 17 years is quite something.
17 years, yes.
I love that. So how did it go? 17 years. How did you end up there?
Well, I want to say that I fell into banking by accident. Yes. In university, I trained in mathematics and chemistry. So I did a Bachelor of Science in mathematics and chemistry. I thought I would end up in a lab.
Okay.
I did my internship at National Oil and Kenya Bureau of Standards. So my dream was to end up in a lab. But as fate would have it, after campus, opportunities were not forthcoming. Okay. So my first ever job was to sell insurance.
Interesting.
First ever job was to sell insurance. I joined a firm in Upper Hill. And I can tell you that selling insurance was tough. It was very tough. The first 4 months, I didn't have a sale.
Can imagine.
Yes. And it's curious that I ended up in sales in banking. But after that experience, as fate would have it, and all through my life, I have benefited from the power of networks and connections.
Awesome.
So one day as I was coming down Upper Hill, I met a former schoolmate of mine.
Okay.
Victor Wino, wherever you are, thank you very much. So Victor used to work at a cooperative bank.
Awesome.
Was my first employer. So I met him, and he was a clerk in HR. So he's the one who told me there was an opportunity. Coop Bank was hiring graduate clerks.
Yes.
And he asked me for my CV. Back then, I don't know if you can remember, back then we used to walk with brown paper bags with our CVs.
Of course.
So that's the point where opportunity meets preparedness. So I gave him my CV. He told me he'll make sure he'll put my CV among the many. And yes, I was called for an aptitude test. And the aptitude test was a math test. Fresh from campus, a math graduate.
Yes.
It was a breeze. And English. So yes, on 7th July 2004, I joined Cooperative Bank as a graduate clerk.
Guess where I was at that time?
Do you want us to really go deeper into that?
Yeah, I can talk about it.
Yes.
I was actually in Form 4.
Oh, wow.
In 2004, yeah. So that's interesting. So Mike is
now
starting work
people knew my age.
when I was about to sit for national exams.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. It has taken me back also to my sales journey.
Okay.
Interesting how I chickened out from selling insurance. So that has brought out something that happened. So immediately after campus, the way you just said that opportunities sometimes are not forthcoming, so you grab what comes.
Yes.
So I remember in my time, before you would be taken in to sell insurance, you are invited for a training first.
Yes.
And then see whether you are up to the task, whether you really want to go that route.
Yes.
I chickened out. So you
didn't actually go through
I didn't go to sell. I went through the training.
Yes.
But when I was supposed to sign up to go start working, I ran away from selling insurance.
Wow.
So how did you manage it yourself? A whole 4 months with no sale?
Like you mentioned,
Yeah.
I took my CV. They took all of us. I don't think they really looked too much into it. They were looking for the willing. It was a coalition of the willing. So yes, I took my CV, went in. For 1 week, we were taken through a training process where it was basically a product knowledge training.
Yes, I remember
where
that
you
too.
are given the different products, the benefits, the features, and all that. And then on the last day, you are told, take a piece of paper and write down all the contacts that you have, who you believe, who are working. So I wrote my parents' friends, all the people that I could think of. And then you're told, that is your prospect list. Go now and start talking to them. And then you are assigned a team leader. So every day you report to the office. Then, of course, you tell your team leader what you've sold. You're given the forms.
Yes.
And then off you go. Into the world. No one tells you go here or go there. You're on your own devices, so long as you report the next day in the morning. So for 4 grueling months, every day, I used to wake up, go to Upper Hill. Then from Upper Hill, and you see, you don't have any formal training in sales.
Yes.
So you have to make it up as you go along. So you start forming friendships with your colleagues. You start sharing war stories, what happened yesterday, what didn't happen. Of course, your team leader after month 1 is not impressed if you haven't sold anything. So that went on the first month, the second month, the third month. I don't believe in quitting things. But doubt starts creeping in. You start asking yourself, what am I doing here? Is this really, after 4 years of university and the promise that you'll get a good job, is this it? It was tough. It was heartbreaking sometimes. There are days when you wake up and you don't want to go because the thought of going to be told once again or to report once again that you don't have a sale keeps you up at night.
Yeah.
Yes, it was before the era of PTSD and trauma and triggers, but that's what it was. So, yeah, 4 months down the line, as fate would have it, I've mentioned I met a former schoolmate.
Yes.
We're in high school together. Yeah, and he told me about the opportunity at Cooperative Bank, and I jumped at it because this was now an assured income, because in insurance, if you don't
sell, there's nothing.
If you don't sell, there's nothing.
Yeah,
so you can imagine I'm still relying on my parents.
Yes,
and I'm telling them. And shout out to my parents. They supported me 4 months. Mom and Dad, thank you very much. Yeah. So yeah, I went for the interview, then went to Coop Bank.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Let me take you a little back there.
Yes.
I know we talked about the grueling part.
Yes.
But I cannot fail to see endurance. You going in every morning,
Yes.
reporting to the office, and still be able to be confident enough and say, I haven't made a sale today. How was that?
I think part of it is the upbringing I had.
Yes.
And this credit goes to my dad. He never believed in quitting. Why are you quitting? Have you done everything? Why is this thing hard? So I grew up thinking or believing that quitting was not an option.
Awesome.
If you commit to something, you see it through. Unless they fired me, I wasn't going to live. Well, it has served me well, and in some places and other places also, you have to realize when to give up on things. So yeah, so I can attribute it to maybe my upbringing.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Now, we leave insurance, we go to Coop Bank, we start a sales journey until when?
Coop Bank, let me start by saying I didn't initially start in sales.
Okay.
We went for training for a month back then. And then I became a teller. I realized very quickly this wasn't something I was going to do for very long.
Okay.
Yeah, giving money. The whole selling thing had planted a seed. Yes. So I used to see the personal banker, what they used to call the microfinance officer,
Yes.
and the direct salespeople, and I really wanted it. I really wanted to be a part of it.
Awesome.
So what I used to do is, even when I was a teller, I started going to sit with the personal banker
Yeah.
who was giving personal loans
Yes.
and credit cards and opening accounts.
Yes.
Remember, I was coming from a background where
Yeah.
we were asking someone to give us money. Now I'm in an environment
Where you're giving the
where
money.
I'm giving money, and I was like, why is this hard? This is so easy. I can name 10 people. If I throw a stone, I'll hit someone who wants money. So I wanted it.
Okay.
And obviously, it also gave me freedom. I'm not one to sit down for too long
Okay.
by nature. I don't like sitting down and concentrating. I'll be the guy who will stand up, even from high school. I'll be the guy who will stand up and want to talk to someone. But you can imagine being a teller where you sit down from morning till evening.
Okay.
Counting cash, paying out, receiving, get checks, you get bankers' checks and all those.
Yes.
I knew very early on this wasn't for me.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
And once again, people take you down a different trajectory.
Yes.
There was a manager called James Mwangi, not to be confused with the CEO. And yes, who saw that I had the interest. And he took a chance on me. Yes. So remember, there was Victor. There was this manager who took a chance on me.
All right.
Yes.
And they gave you the opportunity to actually do the sales.
What happened is the personal banker was going on leave.
Okay.
And since I had shown interest,
Yes.
and this also speaks to what I've seen in my life.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to show interest, even when it is, you go the extra mile.
Yeah.
So I used to finish quickly. Back then, banks used to close at 3.
Yes.
Remember, I said this is 2004,
Yes.
2005.
Yes.
Banks used to close at 3 p.m.
Yes.
So I used to finish very quickly, balance, take my box. Those of you who know banking, take my box to the strong room, then go up because the personal bank, I used to see them leaving later. So rather than leave later as my colleagues who were tellers,
Yes.
I used to go up and find out, what do you need me to do?
Yes.
So there are forms to be filled, there are things. So I started learning. So I started showing interest. So when he went on leave, you see, to cover for him, it would have meant one of the other salespeople in the branch would have had to cover for him.
Awesome.
So I put my name and I said, tell the manager I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the manager was like, but he's a teller. So this guy was like, yeah, but he's been coming here after work to learn. And I'm confident that he can do it. Yeah. And as they say, he went on leave. When I came back, I briefly went back to telling.
Yes.
Then the manager still kept thinking about it. I didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, but he had made a proposal for an extra personal banker.
Okay.
And ta-da!
You got it.
Opportunity meets preparedness.
Again, the second time, Mike.
Yes.
Wow. I think there are 2 things that I want us to talk about more.
Yes.
You see, banking has really changed.
Yes.
Right now, we're talking about universal bankers.
Yes.
Unlike your time, where you are a teller, you are a personal banker, you do not know what's happened in the sales desk.
Yes.
And whoever is telling, whoever is selling does not know what's happening at the teller.
Yes.
Cubicle. So right now, I'm just seeing how the roles have merged into a universal banker where the person who is still serving at the teller can still sell to the client. Interesting.
Yeah.
So it tells me that you almost knew what's going to happen in the future, and that's why you started getting away from the caged side of things. What do you think about that?
Would I say I really knew? Well, I'll say this. If I had not gone into insurance first,
Yes.
I probably would not have thought about the whole idea of selling.
Okay.
Because my 4 months in selling insurance
Yes.
gave me a glimpse about the interactions, the freedom.
Yes.
Actually, the freedom.
The freedom is a thing for
The freedom
you.
was a thing. And I had colleagues who were pretty happy because as a teller, by 3 p.m., you're done and dusted. But I used to see the people who are in sales are in the office longer because they've gone out. And back then, everything was manual.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen banking move from when ATM were a unique value proposition,
Yes.
that you have ATMs, to now when digital banking
Yeah.
and internet banking is ubiquitous.
Yes.
Back then, there was no digital banking. You had to come queue, and your check used to take 3 days to clear.
Yeah.
Yes, so I have seen it. So back to your question, when you say I saw it, I'll say no, I didn't. I just happened to have been in sales initially.
Yeah.
And then coming to this environment, you remember I said the first instance was I was asking people to give me a monthly contribution. And I'll say Kenyans are not really that big on insurance. But here, on this new role,
Yes.
you're telling me to give people money.
Money. Yes.
That was a shift for me.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, those many years in becoming a teller to becoming a regional manager,
Yes.
how was that transition? Tell us a little bit more.
Once again, I'll say this, that I joined, once again, it's fate and God and all the other things. I joined Cooperative Bank at a very interesting time.
Okay.
Those of you who will remember, they had gone through, there was the bomb blast, which really affected the bank's profitability. And then by the time I was joining in 2004,
Yes.
they were on a growth trajectory
Okay.
and expansion. So what happened is opportunities kept coming up as different branches were being opened.
Okay.
I kept seeing opportunities.
right.
So I moved from a teller to a personal banker. From a personal banker, I became an executive banker.
Yes.
Then I moved back into operations. Well, that's another story. I moved back into operations briefly.
Yes.
As a cash officer,
Okay.
then an operations manager.
Yes.
Then I left Coop Bank.
Okay.
Yes. Then, as fate would have it, I joined one of the local banks, which as a relationship manager.
Okay.
I'll not mention, but it's one of the banks that unfortunately went under.
Okay.
Yes, that's another story altogether.
It's all right.
Then from there, I moved into relationship management and haven't left until my last posting, which was in 2023.
Okay.
Yes. So it's been a journey. And all through, I can say I've had people.
Yeah.
I've built relationships.
Yes.
And in some instances, a relationship I built in the past came through for me. Like I said, the first job I got was through a former schoolmate. There's been an instance where I got a job because someone who my parents were family friends. You know, a lot of times, yes, we do the very best that we can.
Yeah.
But we leave out the aspect of fate, or I'll say it's not us, or luck, or even God, as people call it many things.
Yes,
I'd like to say it's because of my faith, I'll say it's God. But I've seen people along the way. So I'm a firm believer in relationships.
Yes, absolutely.
And networks.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I remember that you took the step. In fact, if we go back to becoming a teller and going to do the actual sales, you took a step of expressing interest.
Yes.
And I think this is a part that we cannot emphasize enough. That
Yes.
who knows what you want? Yeah, from my perspective as a coach, you want 1, 2, 3, 4, but who knows that you want 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yes.
If you don't speak out,
Yes.
there is no way your manager would have read your mind and said, let me take Mike to become a personal banker.
Yeah.
It is you who expressed interest first.
Yes.
And I think that is much of the things that many people don't know. I think it's also our own self-limiting beliefs where we think, I am a hard worker, my job will speak for me, and it will open for me the doors that I want.
Yes.
But the truth is, human beings are not mind readers. You have to express interest, and then someone will look at it and say, why not? I remember you said 2 times that somebody took a chance on you 2 times.
Yes.
And even asked for an extra person.
Yes.
Because of how you executed your role,
Yes.
both telling and sales, and you never relinquished one of them while you were learning. So, and this is what I observe also as I do the coaching. People really have desired things, but they are not expressing it. They don't even know who is doing what they want and how they can help them. So the part of having a coach, a sponsor, and a mentor cannot be overemphasized.
Exactly.
Some mentors are not mentoring you directly. Like in your case, that person really had seen your potential and they were happy to, without necessarily telling you, come, I mentor you.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
They just observed, and there are quite many. Those mentors that do it, they move in silence. They don't necessarily announce that I mentored so and so, but they keep bringing up people. And I think that's a very good aspect of leadership that many people do. So I love the fact that you raised your hand and agreed to do the job. And then that is what has driven you until 2023, your ability to raise your hand and say, why not? And also you've mentioned something very profound, that you don't quit unless it is really...
Yes.
You can't, there's no any other way.
I always believe that you're not worse off than you currently are. If there's an opportunity and you see it, just go for it. I mean, you'll not be worse off than you are. All they can do is say no. All I keep telling myself is, if they say no, I'll not be worse off. I'll still go back to how I was. But what if they say yes? That's what sometimes, like, what if they say yes? And in sales, that was very key. What if he says yes? What if the next call, they say yes? Yes. I've worked for brands sometimes where we're not the most popular. Sometimes even we were the most expensive. Sometimes we were unknown. But what if they said yes? That's the thing that I ask myself. What if they say yes?
Awesome.
What if they say yes? So that's what keeps me going.
I love that mindset, Mike. Now, the part that I would like us to talk about next is you have now transitioned to doing the sales. You are leading a team. How was that transition?
Oh, wow. Initially, it was very individualized. I wake up in the morning, I have my plans, I go, I do my thing, and then the results are mine. Now, the first time I was given my first team leadership role, I had 5 people who reported to me. Different personalities, different motivations. And you have now to get results through people. The first thing I realized is be real. Be real. Tell them as it is. You can't coddle them. Be real. And then take them as human beings. Find out what motivates them. Because what motivated me to go for it is not the same thing that motivates the other person.
True that.
And with the younger team, I think my generation, we were more afraid of quitting. And we tended to, and perhaps this is a misconception. But they know what they want and they know what they don't want. And they'll very quickly tell you this is not something they want. So it was balancing. Now, as a team leader, you now have to balance the organizational objectives versus this person's personal motivations. So that you can make them, not make them, you can help them draw into that inner motivation for them to show up for you.
Yes.
Because basically you're asking them to show up for you
Yes.
first. Before they show up for the organization, they have to show up for you.
Yes.
So it was a learning process. So hits or misses here and there. Initially, I wanted too much to be their friend. Yes. I wanted them to like me.
Yes.
But I quickly realized that with that came a bit of what happens when you have to fire someone.
Yes.
What happens when you have to have a difficult conversation with someone, because the objectives have to be met.
Yes.
So it was a refining process. And I realized all along you can be real
Yes.
and still be tough but fair.
Awesome.
Tough but fair.
Awesome.
Tell them as it is,
Yes.
but show them that you are in this with them.
Okay.
Don't be in an ivory tower where you're just expecting numbers.
Yes.
And you're not offering any sort of support. But I was very fortunate in the organization that I worked for.
Yeah.
There were mechanisms which made it very easy for you to offer the kind of support that they needed.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. I love the fact that you said you can tell as it is. Now, there's this part of saying being honest without humanity is being brutal.
Yes.
How do you blend the two?
What you do basically is there are organization realities and objectives that have to be met.
Yes.
So you communicate that.
All right.
And tell them you are required to do X amount.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the how to
Yes.
is now what you work with them.
Yeah.
Are there rhythms that you need to have?
Yeah.
And once again, fortunate enough to have a boss who allowed us the leeway
Yes.
to bring our individuality, our skills, our talents. And their job was to step out of the way and let that individuality thrive in an environment that had structures and tools to help you succeed.
Awesome.
So you'll find one of the people who reports to you is an introvert.
Yes.
The other one is an extrovert. So do you treat them the same way?
No.
What motivates one is not the same thing that will motivate the other person.
The one, yes.
So you have to go and find out what motivates this person.
Okay.
And then also what motivates the extrovert.
Okay.
And then try and help them, not you,
Yes.
them,
Yes.
draw out their very best, to show up as the very best, even as an introvert or an extrovert.
Yes.
So that's what I'm grateful to the organization that I work for. That particular organization helped me a lot to develop my leadership skills. It also trained me as a leader.
Awesome.
Because sometimes you pick someone who's performing well
Yes. Yes.
in sales and then make them a team leader.
Yes.
Those two skill sets are not the same.
Tell us more about that, because
They're not the same.
I think I have seen a lot of leaders struggle. They were performing very well as a salesperson, as an individual, doing as an individual contributor. They did very well until they were given a leadership role.
Yes.
How does that? How better can it be so that you are making sure that whoever you have promoted to become the leader, you are not throwing them into the river that has crocodiles?
Okay. What I've seen is one of the things that you can do
Yes.
that will impair your team
Yes.
is you want to imprint your DNA into each and every person who's in your team.
Yes.
You expect them to show up a certain way, to
Yes.
talk to our customers a certain way, to
Yes.
see opportunities the way you see them.
Yes.
And what that does is it frustrates your team
Yes.
and ends up frustrating you. Because
Yes.
what is counterintuitive to you
Yes.
is not to them.
Agreed.
And you're not drawing on their strengths.
Awesome.
So what I saw is spend a day in their shoes.
Awesome.
Go with them. Don't talk. Find out, how do they talk to clients? How do they plan for a sales meeting?
Yes.
You might actually be surprised that they have a unique way of doing things. Human beings find solutions Our mind is wired to find a solution to our problem.
Agreed.
If we are just allowed to.
Yes.
So you can imagine if you're a leader and you are this top performer, and now since this worked for you
Yes.
and brought these results,
Yes.
you want to imprint that to your team.
So if I hear you well, there's a lot of listening.
Yes.
One.
Yes.
There's a lot of putting yourself in the
Coaching.
shoes, of course. Yeah, coaching.
Coaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there is the empathy aspect.
Yes.
And then there is a part of investing yourself as a leader first,
Yes.
so that you're able to mirror
Yes.
what you want the team to have in.
Yes.
So that means, again, opportunity meets preparedness. You need to have prepared to become a leader, not just someone thinking or imagining that because you did well here,
Yes.
then you can as well lead this team so that you can bring 4 times the results you brought. I think that is that how the mindset works?
Well, I read somewhere also that the day you get into any leadership role
Yes.
is the day you should be afraid. Because now their fate rests on you.
Yes.
And everything starts, attitude reflects leadership.
Awesome.
So in sales specifically,
Yes.
I don't want to go into other aspects of leadership,
Yes.
but in sales specifically,
Yes.
your team rises and falls on the level of, like you said, empathy and involvement
Yes.
and authenticity
Yes.
that is communicated around them.
Awesome.
If it's not there, then your team cannot thrive. Okay, they might,
Yes.
but you also want cohesion.
Yes.
You also want people to show up for you.
Yes.
They'll be showing up for themselves
Yes.
while looking for opportunities elsewhere.
Yes.
You want them to constantly look forward to coming to work. However tough the times would be, and sales can be brutal, especially when the numbers are not coming. Those conversations need to happen because also you're not helping them.
Yes.
Like I said, say it as it is. If there's a target to be met, say it as it is.
Okay.
Praise people publicly. And if you're going to dress someone down, do it privately.
Awesome. That's very powerful.
Yes.
However, let me just take you to another way. There are some people who think that by reprimand in public, you're also sending a warning to others. What do you think about that school of
Well, to each their own.
Uh-huh.
I've also seen someone say that when you're a leader,
Yes.
you need to stamp your authority early on. How you choose to do it is totally dependent on you. And having dealt with, I'll call them back then, Gen Zs, if you go down that path, generally you will face a lot of resistance.
Okay.
You can do the same thing. You can walk someone through a process
Yes.
where you are a performance improvement plan,
Yes.
still be empathetic
I agree.
and still be empathetic
I agree with you.
without compromising
Yes.
on the standards.
Yes. Yes.
But
yes.
empathy does not have to be thrown out just because people are not meeting their targets.
Or the targets need to be met. Yeah.
Yes, the targets need to be met.
Yeah.
And everyone is hired to do a job. And I usually say that any good organization,
Yes.
there's a process that someone goes through to be hired. If this person was hired,
Yes.
it means that they showed some level of competency.
Awesome.
So it doesn't disappear. It just means either it's not a right fit,
Yes.
they don't have a plan,
Yes.
they are not engaged enough. So what is it? As a leader, it's your job to find out what is it. Even as you're walking them through a performance improvement plan, what is it? Where is the challenge? Help them become the best versions of themselves.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Even when it doesn't work out,
Yes.
they'll respect you for it.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, sales in itself,
Yeah.
having done sales myself
Yeah.
for some time,
Yeah.
you cannot really do it for a very long time.
True.
Tell me more about that.
I'm also the same way because I ever done a role for more than 4 or 5 years? No. Human beings want more.
Yes.
They want better.
Yes.
So if let's say from my background in banking, you from year one you're doing sales you're doing mortgages, credit cards,
Yes.
personal loans.
Yes.
That's year one.
Yeah.
You've learned what is required, what is the challenges. Of course, every day in sales is a day. Not 2 days are the same.
Okay. True.
Yes.
True that.
But if you do it for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years,
Yes.
there is complacency. Then there are diminishing returns. What motivated you in year one no longer motivates you.
Yes.
And we all want to see progress at some point.
Yes.
So I've always believed in my team and any team that I've had, I've always encouraged someone, especially someone who's done the role for a number of years, to look for something else that challenges them.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes. Be eternally curious. If your job, you wake up in the morning and you know I can do this thing with my eyes closed, then start looking for something that is challenging you. Because complacency starts setting in.
Yeah.
This is where you start seeing someone dropping the ball, something that's so obvious because in their minds, they know this thing.
They are on autopilot.
Yes, they're
And
not
it's
autopilot.
dangerous.
They're not
Yeah.
challenged. But I'd rather have them wake up every morning
Yes.
and wondering, what do I need to learn? What do I need to know to become better?
Okay.
Rather than, I can do this job with my eye closed.
Awesome.
If I found someone in my team who was getting to that point, my point was to start pushing them to more responsibility.
Yeah.
Now I start grooming them to take over my job because even I would not want to be doing the same thing. So I start giving you more responsibility.
That's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
you're the one who collects, do the reports for me. If there's a training for the team, give me your thoughts on what needs to. So it challenges them. So that was always my way of doing things.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Oh, beautiful. So what made you now to become a corporate sales trainer?
Back to where I was in insurance. Training is not an event.
Absolutely.
It should be ongoing. What has changed? And you'll realize that customers are becoming more and more discerning.
Yes.
They're looking to new channels. New channels are coming up. Back when when I started out, there was no LinkedIn. Social media was non-existent.
True that.
But now you have to sell using your social media.
Yes.
Digital platforms were not there in 2004. I've seen it progressively.
Okay.
So if you can't put new wine in old wineskin.
I agree.
So customers are more discerning.
Yes.
The products are changing.
Yes.
Okay, though banking, I can say the loan is still the same. It's
Yes.
just the products. So you need to constantly reinvent, reevaluate what you know
Okay.
and what you're doing. Like back then, like I told you, I used to work with my CV in a brown envelope.
Yes.
Right now, there was a time it was on my flash disk. Right now, it's on my phone. So with that being said,
Yeah.
with the challenges, can you do it internally? With the organizational objectives and all the things that they are doing.
Yes.
Most organizations do not have an in-house
Yes.
training person
Yes.
or a training academy.
Okay.
I know some are investing a lot.
Yeah.
And even if they do,
Yes.
if you keep hearing from the same person,
Yes.
they will still tell you the same things. You need sometimes someone who's on the outside looking in,
Okay.
who's looking at different sectors
Yeah.
to come in and give you a fresh outlook.
Yes.
I'm not saying I have all the information.
Yes.
However,
Yeah.
as I keep looking at sales, because I look at it the whole day, that's my core job now.
Okay.
I am able to now look at different organizations. If I go to this organization, I hear different views.
Yes.
And with that, I'm able to refine. Remember what I said?
Yes.
To refine my process.
Yes.
So I felt that there is need to engage corporates on how they are training.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that means you've seen a gap where nobody has, or rather, very few companies have in-house trainers. And I think having come from banking, I think over time, the Department of Learning and Development kept shrinking.
Yes.
And I don't know about other sectors, but it kept shrinking and shrinking. And all the learnings are self-led.
Yes.
People need to do their own learnings and development. It's up to them purely to seek knowledge for themselves.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, they, as you've said, they still need to train people using other aspects or rather other trends that you can see from an outsider compared to the person training within.
Yes.
So how is your experience having to be the person who is coming to observe an organization first and then go and design something that is going to suit their needs? How is that?
The way we do it is we have a brief with the company, because sometimes the objectives change.
Yes.
There could be a new product they're launching.
All right.
There could be a shift.
Okay.
Sometimes certain roles
Yes.
become obsolete. And organizations, very many organizations from my experience, are empathetic.
Yes.
So rather than lay off their staff,
Yes.
what they are increasingly doing is they're asking those staff members to embrace a sales function, because that adds to the bottom line.
Okay.
And in other instances, you'll find that there could have been a disruption, or like in one organization where I went and I took training.
Yes.
There was mis-selling. Yes.
Okay.
There was a loophole.
Yes.
And salespeople, I love my people, because whenever there's a loophole, they will take advantage of it.
Okay.
And it created some, let's call it unethical ways of meeting targets.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so different organizations have different objectives.
Okay.
When it's being done in-house,
Yes.
sometimes there is a bit of resistance.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So we have a brief. What do you intend to do?
Okay.
What is your end goal?
Okay.
So we have a brief,
Yep.
and then we tailor the training to that specific need.
Awesome.
Because a company that is launching a new product,
Okay.
of course, they know, the salespeople know the product, because you can't be a good salesperson if you don't know the product. Okay. That's the foundation of it.
True that.
I would not tailor my training the same way as another company who are moving their staff from sometimes an operational role to a sales role.
Okay.
You'll have to tell them, you'll have to demystify sales for one person, and then this one, whether it's a new product or they're entering a new market, you'll tailor it to that, because this will deal with competition. It will deal with how do you communicate? How do you close a lot better?
Yes.
Here you have to take them through the whole thing, the mindset.
Yes.
The mindset has to shift to sales.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how do you merge? Because I notice you also do something else, which is financial literacy.
Yes.
How do you merge your sales, a sales corporate trainer, and the financial literacy aspect? It's a very rare blend, honestly.
Yes.
I haven't seen a person doing those
Both.
two, because I notice many people are pro financial literacy and they are not into the sales aspect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, it's the background that I had. And here I'll mention the employer, Standard Chartered. I had the pleasure of working in Standard Chartered for 6 years. And as a relationship manager, one of the things that Standard Chartered believed very strongly was being here for good. So in as much as you are giving people facilities,
Yes.
are they prudently managing this?
Okay.
And also looking at my life, no one actually taught me
Yes.
anything to do, as most of us.
Yes.
The expectation was go to school,
Yes.
get the skills,
Yes.
apply for a job,
Yes.
get a job,
Yes.
and then manage your life. No one tells you about savings, about budgeting,
Yes.
about tracking your expenses,
Yes.
about investments.
Yes.
But when I got to Standard Chartered as a relationship manager, one of the key value adds that we used to provide to the corporates that we were selling into
Yes.
was personal financial management.
Okay.
So there was a deck which was prepared, which talked about budgeting, what is good and bad debt, investment. The end goal,
Yes.
obviously, was
Yes.
as people learn about this, they also take up the products.
Okay.
But I went deeper. When I left employment, it kept ringing in my mind.
Yes.
So you are in sales, you're making all this money.
Yes.
And I realized that sometimes people were not performing at work
Yes.
because there was a Shylock who's on their case.
Yes.
So this person doesn't want to pick their calls. And if you know any salesperson, you pick every call.
Yes.
Because if you are doing your job well,
Yes.
you'll be recommended
Yes.
to other people. So what if there's a Shylock who's on your case? So you don't want to pick calls
Yes.
because you don't know if it's the Shylock who's calling.
Okay.
So I started saying things don't end wrong.
Yes.
They start wrong.
True that.
They start wrong. Most people don't have a budget. And a budget is not a one-time document.
Yes.
It's a document that you look at every day because you are spending money on a daily basis.
Awesome.
But we're not tracking it.
Yes.
We're not tracking the 200 bob that you spent outside when you're buying a snack somewhere.
Yes.
Or the 1,000 bob that you sent to that friend who asked you, hey, bro, send me this.
Yes.
But we're not tracking it.
Yes.
We don't have a plan. So things don't end wrong. They start wrong.
Awesome.
And with the proliferation, what's the word?
Proliferation.
Yes, of digital lenders. We have
Yes.
too many digital lenders.
Absolutely.
So credit has become a lot more accessible.
All right.
And there's predatory lending.
Yeah.
So people start even way younger.
Yes.
The other people were gambling.
Yes. Wow.
And in some of these instances, once you get into that hole,
Yes.
getting out
Yes.
without being intentional
Yes.
becomes very difficult. So more and more, having been in banking, I used to see this, that you give someone a loan of, let's say, 1 million bob.
Yeah.
Then because as a banker, sometimes you have access to their account.
Yes.
Back then, not for some employers.
Yes.
If I start seeing you withdrawing 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000,
Yes.
generally I'll know that money you took it because you could,
Yeah.
not because there was a plan.
A need for
And then
it.
what was the plan?
Yes.
Was it to buy an asset or was it to buy a liability?
Okay.
So those mistakes, and I speak as someone who's made the same mistakes.
Awesome.
Personally, I have. Like my first loan, can't tell you where it went. I
You're
took
not
it because it was easy.
Yeah.
I used to work in a bank. It was easy to get that loan.
Yes.
I can't tell you how I spent it. Did it buy an asset? No. It didn't.
You just said pole to your mwili.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity to work in a bank. Yes, I have access. And it is easy to get money if you're a banker. It is extremely easy. But it's becoming easier for everyone else because I can go to my phone
Yes.
and get 20,000 bob. Of course, at a considerable interest rate.
Yes.
But then what is the repercussion of this? Do you know how much debt you are holding? Are you budgeting? Do you have an asset? Do you have an investment? Because retirement is coming. It's coming for all of us.
Yes.
Whether we plan for it or we don't, it's coming.
Yes.
And back when we were younger, or for my people my age, we take care of our parents.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids. if I am expecting them to take care of me,
Yes.
I'm setting myself up for failure. Not because they don't care,
Yeah.
but because it's much more challenging now
Yeah.
than it was. Because we hear our
True that.
parents saying they took care of their parents.
Yes.
We are also, by and large, taking care of our parents, but it's slowly becoming less and less. Black tax is not something that your 23, 24-year-old wants to hear about.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But are we planning for it then?
Okay.
Are we intentional about it? So that's why sales is what I did. Financial literacy now is something that I fell into it based on my role in sales.
Yes.
But increasingly, I'm finding that it's something that is very essential.
Yes.
And most people have no clue. Yes.
And then, so that brings us to our next conversation.
Yes.
That the whole mindset about money is messed up.
Yes, it is.
Because money is not discussed openly. Like we were catching up with you a few moments ago.
Yes.
That we said very few parents have money conversations with their children. Basing even in our own story, I don't know yours.
Yes.
I don't remember the last time we had a serious conversation with my parents about money. Yeah, it was, you want the money, whatever you want, it's brought.
Yes.
Not that you are being exposed to go and see how you can use it and return some change.
Yes.
And part of that is we spoke about an experiment of letting the children, when not the slightly younger children, at least thought you can reason with that.
Yes.
This is the much we have. How
Yes.
do we spend? So how do we have this mind shift so that we are teaching the children financial literacy as early as it could be? Because I'm sure if we educate them early, then we will have no more of the problems. Not much of the problems we're experiencing now about money and the whole aspect of mindset around money.
It's very interesting you mentioned that, because one of the topics that we take people through during the financial literacy is your money personality.
Yes.
Some people are running away from something.
Yes.
They know or they saw how their parents struggled.
Yes.
And therefore, they don't want that for themselves.
Yes.
So they hoard money.
Yes.
But the other people who didn't realize the value of money. They
Yes.
grew up relatively comfortably.
Yes.
So for them, it's, for lack of a better word, itakuja. That's it for today.
Yes.
So when they get paid, someone lives it up
Yes.
for 3, 4, 5 days,
Yes.
and then they tighten their belts or borrow
Yes.
for the rest of the month. Then there are other people who fall, those are the extremes.
Yes.
Then there are other people who fall in between.
Yes.
They partly plan, partly enjoy, but there is no clear rhythm.
Okay.
And we fall into this, and you mentioned children.
Yeah.
Children see how you respond to money. And that forms the basis of their interactions with money,
Yes.
of their relationship with money.
Okay.
And most of us were told, do you think money grows on trees? So there's a scarcity.
Yes.
Yes, you ask for something, it's never there.
Yeah.
So some people promise themselves that when I grow up, I'm never going to do that.
Yes.
Or I'm going to enjoy all the things that I was denied.
Yes.
Without realizing that money personality informs,
Yes.
or what we saw, it informs our relationship with money going into adulthood.
Okay.
So you start earning.
Yes.
So if you struggled,
Yes.
you'll be running away from that struggle. So
Yeah.
you'll tend to hoard,
Yes.
not necessarily invest. You'll just hoard. You never want a situation where you are lacking food
Yes.
or school fees for your kids. So
Yes.
you'll do whatever it takes to always have it.
Yes.
But is that really the goal? Is it just to survive or to thrive?
Okay.
So the plan is, like I mentioned, retirement is coming.
Yes.
So you're hoarding, but your money is not working for you.
Yes.
Without realizing the other avenues where you could invest this money. Or you could protect. Yes, you want to protect, but how are you doing it? There is insurance.
Yes.
There are other ways to protect what you've worked hard for.
Yes.
There's someone who is fortunate to see their parents investing in a house.
Yes.
So the only thing that their parents perhaps told them is, when you get a job, buy a house, buy land.
Yes.
That's it. Buy a house or buy land.
Okay.
So they'll work towards that. Some people were told, don't buy a car. Other people saw a car from the point where they grew up.
Yes.
So they know that a car is a necessity.
Yes.
So how do you then build habits
Yes.
that give you your desired outcome? Do you even have a desired outcome? Do you even think about it? Because at 24, 25, I was not thinking about retirement.
No.
Not even considering it. I used to see the pension go, the deductions on my payslip.
Yeah.
But to me, it was neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But now, as I'm older,
Yeah.
as I'm a parent,
Yes.
there are stark realities. Will I be able to afford fees? You start thinking, I'll retire at a certain age,
Yes.
55 or 60.
Yes.
My children will probably be in university. How will this be paid? Do I have a house? I am paying rent right now. Will I be able to maintain the same lifestyle
Yes.
then when I perhaps do not have an income
Awesome.
or a reduced income
Yes.
that I am currently? So those are the questions that we ask ourselves, many other questions, but I find it increasingly, or it's not, those are not discussions that we have. And if we are having them,
Yes.
we are having them, we're not teaching them to our children. So do we say our children are our most precious, let me not call it an asset. Our children are very precious to us.
Yes.
Why then are we not equipping them to be able to handle money better than we did?
Okay.
If we love them, and I know we do,
Yes.
that goes without saying,
Yeah.
then we should be able to start having those conversations with them.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. So the earlier we start.
The earlier you start, the better. Start showing them when you're in the supermarket.
Yes.
Start showing them that I'm sure children nowadays are much more informed than I was or
Yes.
you are.
Yes.
So when you're in the supermarket with them, because we go to the supermarket with them,
Yes.
start showing them this costs this much.
Yes.
This costs this much. If we buy this,
Yes.
we only have 1,000 shillings
Yes.
to spend.
Yes.
So if I buy you the snack that you want,
Yes.
we don't have something else in the house.
Then this brings the question. We say no without explaining.
Without explaining, yes.
And that hurts. I noticed that because they start slowly telling themselves, we know when we ask, the answer is always no.
Yes.
Yeah, so clearly there, we really need to involve our children in the planning process so that they know that, yes, money is a tool for us to use. However, if we use it badly, it can badly affect
Yes.
our life today and the life tomorrow. Now, because you have exposure to training salespeople, I know salespeople are these people who are literally chasing the target month on month.
Yes.
How do you help them to understand the fact that this money that in as much as most of them are commission based,
Yes.
how do you help them to plan? Because as you said, sales, you get to a plateau and then you start coming the downward spiral because you
Yes.
cannot do it in perpetuity.
Yes.
Sales, yes, there are high times where you make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So how do we save for a rainy day, especially for a salesperson who is in that sales career, who the retirement is coming, and even before the retirement, there is the law of diminishing returns, as we said.
Yes.
How do we help that?
Once again, I'll mention this. In one of the organizations that I worked for,
Yes.
they had an interesting method of rewarding salespeople.
Yes.
So they'll give you 80%
Yes.
of your bonus, so to speak,
Yes.
and then they'll claw back 20%.
Okay.
Clawing back, and then they'll pay you, because the bonuses were paid quarterly.
Yes.
They'll claw back and then pay you the 20% when everyone else was being paid.
Yes.
So I usually insist
Okay.
or advice. Let me not use the word insist because I have no control over the choice is always theirs.
Yes.
That they have a futuristic thinking.
Yes.
So start clawing back.
Okay.
Are you putting money aside? Money that you are not accessing.
Yes.
An emergency fund, for instance.
Okay.
Or money that you can invest somewhere else.
All right.
Because sales is cyclical.
Okay.
It means there'll be highs, there'll be lows.
All right.
There'll be months, especially if you are purely on commission based. If
Yes.
you have a salary,
Yes.
then more or less the budgeting and all those things kick in.
Yes.
But if you're on commission basis, that doesn't preclude you
Yes.
from also having the same habits.
Okay.
But you need to be more aware or in tune to the fact that
Yes.
you need to claw back.
All right.
And here I'll go a bit biblical.
Yes.
And
You're
say
allowed.
even Joseph
Yes.
was told there'll be 7 years of plenty
Yes.
and 7 years of lack.
Yes.
So what did he do? Typically, what you do is you leave it up. If most of us, if there's no plan, what you do is the 7 years of plenty. What do? You leave it up. Sherehe,
YOLO.
YOLO. You only live once. However, you need to be aware that there'll be 7 years of lack.
Yes.
So what will you do then?
Okay.
Will you rely on your savings?
Yes.
Or will you start borrowing? And if you start borrowing, of course, that takes you into another realm where now people start avoiding you,
Yeah.
start avoiding your calls, you default,
Yes.
and do all those things.
All right.
So what do? So that's what I keep bringing to the fore.
Okay.
There'll be 7 years of plenty and 7 years of lack.
Beautiful.
So what do you choose to do in the 7 years of plenty? So when you're getting a commission and it's good, this month or the other month, it's been good. Do you leave it up?
Yes.
Or do you think that there's perhaps a 20% I need to put aside?
Okay.
Because what if something happens? And this could be anything from if you're a lady, you have a child, for instance.
Yes.
Good thing,
Yes.
a blessing,
Yes.
but you're not earning during that period.
Yes. Yes.
You could lose your job.
Yes. Yes. That's
As
a
it's
reality.
happening.
Yeah.
Yes, we're
Yes.
not like our fathers who used to get watches, wheelbarrows, and all those things when they retire from the same employer.
Yeah.
For us, we've moved jobs and we keep changing jobs.
Yes.
And sometimes there are disruptions.
Yes. Yes.
What do you do? What happens?
Okay.
So that's something that I want people to constantly think about because it's happened to me as well.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I worked for one organization that was put under receivership.
Yes.
One day I woke up and I didn't have a job. Life goes on. Obligations still have to be met. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So if you had to do a summary about 3 things that a salesperson can do
Yes.
to save for a rainy day, what
Yes.
would it be?
First, define what do you want.
Okay.
If you don't know where you're going, then any road will take you there. Where are you going? What do you want? Do you want to retire and live? Where do you want? See the future.
Okay.
See yourself in the future first and foremost.
Hold on.
Then how much does this future
Yes.
cost?
All right.
Yes, on a day to day.
Awesome.
If it's rent, how much will it be? If you have kids, how much will the school fees be? And all that. Then work backwards now. So how much do I need? You've already counted the cost.
Yes.
You've defined what you want. You've counted the cost.
Yes.
Now, what steps do you need to take?
Awesome.
And those steps, it means with daily habits.
Yes.
Do you need to drive every day? Do you need to stop doing certain things?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Because sometimes it needs to go granular.
Okay.
I drive every day. I spend 1,000 shillings on fuel.
Okay.
What if I commuted? What if we carpooled? Would it make a difference? I eat out twice or thrice a week. What if I carried lunch? And it goes very practical
Yes.
because financial management is about you looking at this thing each and every day. And it's curious that we work in organizations which have a petty cash somewhere, which is accounted for every day. If you talk to the accountant in
Yes.
your company, the petty cash is accounted for every day.
Yes.
You leave the house, you withdraw 2,000 shillings. You come home and you hear this conversation. 1,000 shillings is nothing. You leave the house with 1,000 shillings. I get home with nothing. You better know where it went.
Yes, I agree with you.
You
on
better
that.
know where it went.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. Or, okay, when I say advice, that's something that I want us to think about.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, that's so beautiful, and it's been a pleasure speaking to you, Michael.
Thank you very much for
And I
having
would
me.
like you to briefly say if I'm looking forward to having financial literacy in my organization or to the people that your target, how
Yes.
do we reach you? So go ahead and share how we can find you.
So, like I mentioned, I run a consultancy firm called Hatua Peak Consulting. I also work with a very close friend of mine. Like I mentioned, I am a strong believer in collaboration and relationship.
Beautiful.
So I work with a colleague of mine. She's called Eunice Maina, who runs a company called 20X Entrepreneurs. So you can reach me you can find me on social media, on LinkedIn mostly. My name is Michael Kiprotich Kirui on LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram, Hatua Peak Consulting. And my telephone number?
Yeah, you could share if you are okay with that.
You can reach me on my personal email, which is kiruimk@gmail.com. And I'll be happy to have a conversation with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. It's been
Thank you
such a
very much.
beautiful conversation.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's it
Yes.
for today. We look forward to seeing you again in the next episode of the Sylvia Correct podcast, where we have conversations that matter. See you then.